Hey everybody, this is Claire, and this is Small Joyful Things. As always, I go out to thrift stores or estate sales, or I sometimes buy things from Craigslist, and I try to find out as much as I can about them, and then I tell you guys about them. So here's what I've got for you today. This is something kind of a little bit unusual. So this is a hanging, basically a little hanging jar. You would put this up on your wall because one side of it is flat that you can see. Basically, it hangs up against the wall with the flat side against the wall, and just kind of looks kind of cool. Now it is hand blown, and you can see the pontil mark there. It's a rough pontil. Basically, it would have been blown, and then they just whacked it, snapped the pontil right off, and didn't even bother polishing it out. That's completely rough. The handles are applied, and the inside actually has this. I can't decide whether this is actually a layer of glass or whether it's just a type of varnish, just to kind of give it some texture on the inside and let you see the designs on the surface here. As far as I know, this kind of design is done with alcohol inks, if I remember correctly. It's not actually part of the glass itself. The little strap is made out of leather. The little glass bead is obviously glass, and there's nothing special about it. It's just, it's also handmade, which I think quite nice. Now, the unusual thing about this, okay, apart from the fact that I bought it in a thrift store for like maybe $3 or $4 because I thought it was interesting, it is that it smells, okay? It's not the glass. You can get some, obviously glass doesn't have a smell. The little leather strap absolutely, to me anyway, stinks. And it's not a bad smell. It is a smell of some kind of essential oil or perfume that I didn't notice until I was out of the shop, and then thought, oh, that's kind of, what's that smell? Because it's not me. I don't really wear perfume. And realized that it was this, and I can only describe it as like the strongest cinnamon you've ever smelled in your entire life. It's like a cross between if you took cinnamon and then mixed up with lavender, and it is definitely some kind of essential oil. I don't entirely know what. I can only tell you that I find it deeply unpleasant because they're like the smell of essential oil bothers me, and especially lavender. I get migraines from it. So not my finest moment picking this up. I should have, smelled it maybe first. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna get through the video. We can do this. Let's measure it up. Let's get the annoying. Okay, the bottle itself is about a little over 5 inches. I would say about 3.5 inches across the most. I would say it's probably no more than 2 inches thick. I'm not going to bother measuring off the little strap. Okay, so what have we got? Because obviously this is fairly unusual. Like, look at this. I mean, this is like this is weird. This is not something that you normally see. Definitely not something you normally see around, thrift shops in Vancouver, which is, why I got it. This one stumped me for quite a bit. I ended up posting on the glass collecting subreddit because there's a few people there who've been collecting for years and they're incredibly knowledgeable. And I just said, look, what the hell is this? What exactly have I got here? Because the style kind of makes me think it's Roman or Phoenician. It's got that old style, especially the handles done like this. I've seen enough pictures of ancient Roman art, Roman glass, to see like the wide spout, like the wide kind of opening like that, the curled handles like that. That kind of speaks to me as being like, oh, that's so Roman, or Phoenician, but mostly Roman because I covet Roman art glass, just so you know. God help me if I ever actually come across like real Roman glass in a thrift store, I may just die. Anyway, so what have we got? This is Israeli. I've got some pictures for you now. Now, I gotta say, definitely news to me that Israel has quite a strong like glass blowing tradition, but they definitely do, and these alcohol inks are definitely something that show up quite often. There's a few different companies that do it, and as far as I can tell, these little art glass pieces are essentially souvenirs for Jewish people who would go out to, obviously, to go to Jerusalem and, you know, do the pilgrimage, and then you obviously come back home and they have like this little, the souvenir of the trip kind of thing. I know Vancouver does actually have like a fairly sizable Jewish population, so easily within the realms of possibility that someone went all the way up to Jerusalem and brought this back, and then it wound up in a thrift store. So after doing some looking around at a few different companies to try and determine, like, could I figure out like who had actually made it, I finally came up with this one. And the name of it here, there's an actual label at the bottom. Their name is Simron. And a lot of their kind of art glass stuff would look very much like this. It has this kind of like, these kind of, like this kind of, that'd be the right kind of shape or what have you. And it also has these lovely alcohol ink designs. I found a few in the style of this that has the handles that his kind of looks a bit Phoenician. And it's very interesting. They're very kind of subdued, very muted, I have to say. A lot of the stuff that you see for like that people will collect with, like Murano, tends to be big, bold, organic kind of stuff. I always think of Empoli as being very kind of refined and elegant, and they have kind of very kind of rich, deep colors. These guys are very much like pastels and kind of old looking glass, stuff that looks like it came from several, millennia ago, that kind of thing. All very pretty, I have to say, and a lot of iridescent inks like this one. So apart from this, what am I going to do with this? I'm not keeping it. I can't. The smell is distressing to me. And that's not an indication that this is like a bad thing, It's just me. I cannot tolerate these essential oil kind of odors. It just completely, it really wrecks me. And I can just about get through this video, and then I'm going to have to put this thing in a plastic bag because I cannot tolerate the smell at all. If you also suffer from migraines, you probably know what I mean. But anyway, this is going to go up on eBay, but first I'm going to offer it to a neighbour of mine who I know is Jewish. I think it would just be a really nice gift for him because I know it's from Israel, probably from Jerusalem. I don't know if he's ever actually been. I think that this would just be a nice kind of present to say, look, hey, if you've never been, like, I have some Israeli art glass. Would you like it? Because I just, I picked up in a thrift store for nothing, almost nothing. But okay, if I'm going to go to put this on eBay, what would it actually be worth? So let's take a look. I took a quick kind of glance around the sold listings. Simron glass doesn't come up very often, and also doesn't sell for a whole lot of money when it does come up. Something like this, which is kind of nice, it's a decorative piece, it's kind of unusual. It's going to be worth maybe $10 to $20 at most. Not really a big seller, I don't think. There's just not much there. And people have, kind of what I would consider to be reasonably optimistic prices. Like, that's, $50. I don't know if anyone's going to look at that. But yeah. So there you go. Still, I gotta say, probably not my best choice. And to be honest, in future, I'm definitely going to be checking to make sure that I don't like pick up something like this again, because it's entirely possible that someone on eBay is going to look at that and go, oh, okay, so the leather strap stinks of some kind of essential oil. Someone actually suggested that it might be anointing oil or something. And to be honest, I don't know enough about smells to kind of identify whether it is or not. Maybe my neighbour knows. I don't know. But it's entirely possible that someone will look at that and go, oh, okay, so the leather strap stinks, I'm not touching that. The ultimate fate for this particular little bottle could be to just return to a thrift store, and maybe someone else will like it and will not mind that this is really something. But anyway, this is my small joyful thing for the day. I'm glad that I learned something, even though that smell is incredibly distressing. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Bye bye.